CCA is well known as KZ's sister brand, offering their more innovative and oftentimes experimental technologies and tuning philosophies. And today, we'll take a look at one such set that seems to have captured the hearts of many with its superb tuning for the price. Let's talk about the CCA Rhapsody. Priced at $50, the Rhapsody tackles the higher end of their usual budget offerings. Let's find out if it got what it takes to stand out. Starting with the unboxing, you get a somewhat different experience to many CCA and KZ sets, as it only comes in a plain black box with the specs printed on the side. The inclusions are largely the same with their other IEMs, such as the basic KZ cable, KZ Starline tips, and some paperwork. The tips are decent and emphasizes the low end, but they are nothing special. The IEMs themselves are on the larger end of KZ CCA sets, with the aluminum faceplate and resin inner shell found in many of their previous sets. It features tuning switches like many that came before it, and an opportunity to have 16 different tuning modes. This is by far the largest KZ or CCA set that I've ever tried. It fills my entire ear with barely any room to spare. It's very snug thanks to the larger fit, but also makes it quite uncomfortable on long listening sessions due to the size. Definitely not the set for people with smaller ears. There's also mild pressure buildup when using the stock tips, so I ended up using DRI Clarions to mitigate the pressure. The cable is your stock KZ cable that you either love or hate. It's functional and comfortable, but they're nothing special. Moving on to the sound, the Rhapsody features a U-shaped sound signature that is akin to the Harman 2019 Target. As the Rhapsody comes with tuning switches, I'll be talking about the stock configuration of all up when it came in and compare it later in its own section. For a hybrid KZ set, the coherency here is very impressive, although not perfect, as the bass can occasionally be slower than the mid-range and treble. Bass is very big, engaging, and genuinely makes the music feel alive. The rumble is very deep and punchy, and extremely engaging. It may come across on the boomier side, and people who want a neutral sounding bass might not find the Rhapsody to be their taste, but it's undeniable that it gives such an immersive low end. It's unfortunately on the slower side, as the bass can lag a little bit from the higher frequencies. This also affects dynamics and nuances in the bass that aren't as well defined compared to other sets that solely use dynamic drivers. The mids are on the cleaner side, as the bass tucks at around 300 Hz like many Harman tuned sets. This means that the bass doesn't intrude on the mid-range, but might come across a little bit thin on the vocal weight. The Rhapsody somewhat mitigates that, as there's still a little bit of energy from the mid-bass, but doesn't overdo it to make it sound muddy or bloated. Upper mids have good clarity and detail without sounding harsh or shouty. It complements the lower mids pretty well, but it's clear the emphasis is more on the upper frequencies rather than the lower ones. Moving on to the treble, the Rhapsody has a smooth and forgiving treble presentation that never sounds harsh, sibilant, or edgy. Micro detail isn't the most impressive, and it's not the area's or most sparkly sound, but it has enough treble to not sound dark or too dull in the higher frequencies. It nicely balances the lower end to not overly emphasize the top end by overcooking the treble, but you can't deny that the details were definitely hit and ends up not sounding as resolving or detailed. Technicalities aren't the most impressive on the Rhapsody, but it balances out the musical factor pretty well. Head stage is surprisingly wider than average due to the open mid-range and deep emphasized bass. Separation and layering aren't impressive, however, and may struggle on more complex low-end tracks due to the slower bass presentation. Imaging is decent, but nothing special. Left and right is pretty good, while forward and back is decent. Up and down imaging isn't stellar, but it's to be expected for the price. Compared to the other tuning modes, let's go through each one by one. The all-down configuration is the basic graph and boosts the bass tuck to 500 instead of 300. This makes the bass overall more boomy and bleeds into the mid-range while smoothing the top end more. The 1000 configuration boosts the bass by a small amount while also lowering the mid-bass by a very small margin. The 1100 configuration boosts the bass even more, but solely focuses on the sub-bass and is the most rumbly configuration. The 0010 configuration tames the bass by a small margin while putting the focus on the higher frequencies and is an overall cleaner sounding tuning. The 0011 configuration tames the bass even more, which makes this set the most neutral tuned of the marketed offerings. This is also by far the cleanest sounding, but might come across a little bit harsh. Comparing it to the other sets, let's compare it to the KZ Castor Bass Enhanced or the KZ Castor Black. In short, if you want a direct upgrade from the sound of the Castor bass, you get the Rhapsody. This is because it has everything that the Castor has, but better. Cleaner bass, smoother mids, less harsh treble, and a more versatile tuning overall. Comparing this to the EW200, the EW200 is ahead in terms of technical ability and dynamics, but the Rhapsody has a more fun, engaging experience without sacrificing clarity or harshness in the treble, which is common for some people with the EW200. Compared to the Truthear Zero Red, the Red has a more natural and neutral sound, while the Rhapsody has a more fun and engaging sound. Technicalities are similar between the two, but the Rhapsody might come across a little bit more detailed than the Red. Compared to the Truthear Hexa, it tells a very similar story with the Red, but the Hexa has much better technical capabilities and coherency compared to the Rhapsody, while the Rhapsody offers a more fun and engaging listen. To conclude, the Rhapsody is a very well-tuned set if you're into big but clean bass that is complemented by a clean and smooth top end. It is not the most technical sounding set, and the size might be too big for some people, but it's no question that CCA has provided us with a really well-tuned and fun sounding set to make your music sound alive. Thank you so much for watching my review on the CCA Rhapsody. If you would like to order one, you may use the non-affiliated link down below. And with that, OB Audio, out!